Okay, so comparing the three list types, you've got the top one, which is a what? Look at it carefully. Key and value. So what does that make it? A dictionary, right? Key and value. That's the only thing that a dictionary, and also the curly braces. The second one is a list or an array, and the last one is a tuple. Okay, so you'll get a visual reminder because they use those different kind of braces or brackets for each one. So now I want to get into nested lists. And this is when we really start moving from a data type to what we call a data structure. A data structure is a complex container or nested containers that holds a structure of data that is useful in some way to our application. You can kind of think of it as these Russian nesting dolls, right? And I actually went to the Ukraine right after they left the Soviet Union. So these were everywhere, and they were always trying to sell them to tourists. But one of the things you learn about them when you're there is that the higher the quality of the doll, the smaller the differences between each one, so you can put more dolls inside the other ones. So this would be considered a very high quality one because the difference between each successive doll is smaller. And so you take this small one, you put it inside this one, you put it inside this one, and so on until all of them are inside that big one. This would be actually, in computer science terms, a very simple, probably to the point of being useless data structure. When we have data structures in computer science or a nested list like this one, what you will see is we have brackets. Inside the main list has A and B as string values. The third value, so index 2 on this list, actually contains a list. So index 2 contains a list. And so index 0 of that inner list is CC. Index 1 of that inner list is DD, and index 2 of that inner list is another list. And it contains two items, 0 and 1. The next comma here, we have two square brackets, so we're going back out to the main list. The next comma leaves us with G in that main list. Now G, what is G's index in the main list? 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And then 4. So there are 5 items in the main list. The third item in that list is another list. So if I print this list referencing index 2, which is item number 3, it will print out this inner list. I can access these list items by using more brackets. So if I say L2, index 2, which references this, and then I say 2 again in brackets, it's going to grab the third item, which is the EE and FFF list. And I can even go further. I can say 220 and get straight to that piece of data. So there's a very powerful ability to drill down into our data structures. And one of the things that you'll learn as you go further into computer science, if you go further into computer science, is that there are about 30 different ideas about how to teach a computer how to understand a list. Not just a list like this, but one that's 100 times more complex. And that's really one of the big problems that artificial intelligence folks are trying to solve is list traversal, is what it's called. How do you understand, how do you make sense of, how do you explore a list, or how do you write a program that can explore a list? We're actually going to be talking about that a little bit later in this class.